Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Frigidaire dryer control board. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new control board. The control board is what controls all the dryer functions. The main reason to be changing it out is if the board has failed and the dryer isn't responding to the inputs or the dryer is not working at all. In order to get to the part, we have to remove the top of the dryer. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and go around back to remove the screws. With the screws out of the way, we can take the top off. All you have to do is pull it back about a half an inch or so and lift it off the dryer and set it aside. With the top off the machine, now we can remove the two knobs from the control panel so we can take it apart and get the control out of it. These are just pressed on, so all you have to do is grab them and pull them straight off so you don't damage them. Once you have both those off, we can remove the control panel. It's held in by 4 screws. There's 2 on each end. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to take them out. Now that we have the screws out, we can carefully rotate the control panel forward so we have access to the control board. We're going to start at this end and remove the wires. Sometimes these can be a little tight, so if you have to, you can grab a needle nose pliers and pry them out. Remember where yours go. On ours, it's red and black. Once you have them out, you can remove the wires from the control board, and then we can remove the next ones. These both have push tabs. All you have to do is press on them to release them and pull the plugs out. And then we can take this wire bundle out from its holder. And the last thing is this wire tie right here that you might have to take a small flathead screwdriver and pop that out. Ours was already broken on our machine, but it's just a little holder tab, so you can go in there and press on it and pull that out. Once you have all the wires out, you can swing them up out of the way, and then we can lift the control panel out. We're going to lay it on a towel so we can use our Phillips screwdriver to remove all the screws that hold the control board into the control panel. Some of these are pretty sunk down into these holes, so we're just going to leave them in there, and then once we have them all loose, we'll just dump the screws out. Before we take the control panel out, we're going to tip it up to get the screws out. And then there's a couple tabs on the bottom that we have to release, and then we have to very carefully separate the control panel from the control board. There is some indicator buttons and things like that that may fly out, so you want to be careful. So here's one tab. All you have to do is press down to release it, and do the same to this one. Once you have the tabs released, you can gently push from the front and push on the shafts to kind of push it off the control panel a little bit and lift it out. You want to be careful because all these little plastic pieces that we have to switch over to the new control board, we have to make sure that they don't fall out. Once you have it pulled out of the control panel, you can take it off the dryer. Here's the old control board next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. They don't give you these indicator lenses with the new control board, so we're going to have to swap it from the old one to the new one. All you have to do is carefully lift them out and swap them onto the new control board. Once you have them all swapped over, we can put the new control board into the control panel. Before we put the new control board into the panel, we want to make sure that none of these little knobs or springs fell out. If they did, all you have to do is set them back in place with the springs in them, just like this. And when you put the two pieces together, you don't want to put them at too much of an angle. You just want to kind of keep the control panel like this so those don't fall out. And then very carefully line up the control board with the shaft holes and lower it down into place. Don't jar it around or anything. You don't want those little plastic indicator lenses to fall out. Once you have it set down into place, you can snap it in so the little retainers hold it. Make sure you get the top and bottom ones. Once you have it in place, you can turn it over and make sure that all the little lenses are in here and that your buttons click and spring back just like they should. Once you're sure all the lenses and buttons work, we can turn it back over and use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screws back that hold it onto the control panel. Now that we have the control panel assembly put back together, we can put it back on the dryer. Before we put the control panel assembly back in, we're going to get rid of the towel that we had up here and then carefully set the panel on the top panel. And we're going to reroute the wires. I'm going to carefully pull the wire harnesses back over and go ahead and lock this one in. Ours isn't going to stay, but yours will. And then we can feed the wire harness through the holder. And reconnect these two connectors. All you have to do is push down on them. You want to make sure you push them all the way down so you get a good connection and it locks in place. Then we can grab the red and the black wire and put it through the holder and reconnect the wires over here on this end of the control. Same as the others, just push them in, make sure you get them all the way down and get a good connection. Once you have all the wires reconnected, we can rotate the control panel back up into place and put the screws back in. Whether you have a magnetic screwdriver or not, you want to be careful. You don't want to drop these down inside the dryer. Now that we have the control panel mounted, we can snap the knobs back on. On the big one, there's a little notch right here on this side that matches up with this little tab right here on the D shape. All you have to do is line that up and snap it back into place. On the smaller knob, there's just a D shape. So we're going to line that up and push it back on. Once you have the knobs replaced, we can put the top back on the dryer. To put the top back on, you want to very carefully set it down so that the front of it goes right in that groove and that the little notches are lined up with the tabs on the control panel. And then you can push it forward. With the top in place, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put in the two screws that hold it in place. Now that we have the dryer put back together, we can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.